to another summer campaign with me, Jack, and you,
Will.
Yes, well done, you remembered your own name. At the beginning of this, we wondered whether we were going to get a summer at all. Well, flipping heck, what a summer we are having. You know, it's lovely that it's like this, but it's a bit of a disaster and a bit of a warning for what's to come in the future and climate change and all that. And it is absolute hell. Is that a nice expression to use for our homeless folk?
It's how it is, and it is incredibly hot. It's hot again. This is the second time we'll be talking about the heat wave.
35 plus degrees. And yeah, there are some other parts of the world where homeless people survive in this heat. We're not there. We're not used to it. Our homeless friends are not used to this heat. So doesn't matter. We are here. This is what we're used to, and this is not normal. So Will, we've spoken about it before, but this might be the first time you're watching this video at home. Yeah, you with that cup of tea. So it's really dangerous to be homeless in the summer. Let's just go with hydration. Taking on board liquid, as people always say, is really important. Some of our friends aren't taking on the right liquid.
That presents a massive problem because actually alcohol is a natural dehydratant. That word
diuretic.
Diuretic. And so what they tend to do, and we've had this conversation before, they're wearing a lot of inappropriate clothes because they've only got their possessions on them, so they don't often have t-shirts, or actually they go around with very little clothing. There seems to be a sort of combination of the two, but it's the lack of regular supply and access to water, soft juice, drinks, soft drinks.
Anything that hydrates you, basically.
Anything that hydrates you. And the problem is that very often, as we often characterise, somebody will fall asleep in the park. Well, they'll start off in the shade, but the sun moves round and they get caught up in the shade. So they might not have a nice tan like us. They might be red raw. And when they've got all their clothes with them, it's just a very uncomfortable environment for them and hugely dangerous. So we've talked about it before. So dehydration is just a massive problem, and people need to really focus on addressing that.
You might get there's phones going off in the background. Please don't worry about that. It might be a brief respite from having to put the heating on, Will, but water bills, there's still utility bills. It's difficult to keep cool for all of us, let alone if you're living at the top of a block of flats, if you're having lots of showers, if you're drinking lots of water. Those utility bills do still creep up during the summer, Will.
And it's important to face up to that. We'll do a special on the cost of living crisis because there's a lot of stuff coming out in terms of how to manage all of that.
100%. We'll have to go back to our cost of living crisis videos when the price cap goes up again in the winter.
But what you've got to be really careful about, you've got to keep yourselves hydrated. And I'm talking to people who are living in accommodations, you say, living in flats where ventilation is poor. You can have a lot of problems around lack of sleep, which has caused a lot of stress-related issues. And we're getting a lot of people very, very agitated. Mental health impacts a lot on that because people genuinely are agitated by the heat. So if you are somebody who needs to be alert to that, then for goodness sake, keep yourself well. Because
keep an eye out on your friends, keep an eye out on your family. Not everybody has the chance to go on holiday. It is a good time. It's always a good time to look out for people. But when we've got extreme weather, whether that be extreme cold, whether that be extreme wind, whether that be extreme wet, whether that be extreme heat, it's always worth keeping an eye out on your extreme local community. And like I always go on about, again, going back to homeless people, the average number of deaths throughout the year, they go up during the summer and they go down during the spring and autumn and go up again in the winter. So it's just as dangerous to be homeless in the summer as it is in the winter. A bit of a weird rambly one this week, Will. I hope it's made sense to you all at home, but we cannot stress enough how dangerous it is to be homeless during this kind of heat, especially when we're not used to it, and how difficult it can be if you are on a low income to struggle through with this heat.
Yeah, I've had 3 phone calls today actually from members of the public asking for advice, which is great. We are a source of advice, and critically they were asking about housing, and I directed them to housing options. We talked about Street Scene, which is the app on your telephone. You can identify people that you come across in the street, and these 3 people wanted to do something, and they wanted to be able to respond rather than just simply walk by. And it's just great that people want to react. So we are a point of contact. We can give you advice, we can point you in the right direction. There are other services out there, and don't forget, if it is an emergency, it's 999.
Yes.
Just
don't call us first.
Yeah.
Call the emergency
and I mentioned
services.
that because that happened a couple of days ago as well. But yeah, just be alert, be community focused, and people are. I mean, Stafford is brilliant, but this is not the holidays in terms of relaxing time. It's the holidays for a lot of people, but for a lot of others, it's a massive challenge just to try and keep cool, keep hydrated, and keep safe.
Keep cool and carry on, you could have said.
I could keep cool and carry on.
Right, thank you very much, Will, for trekking through that with me. I hope there's been loads of phone calls, there's been...
We'll give you some sense of how
pets,
busy...
my dog being annoying over there. It's just great. So I hope all this has been edited together into some semblance of sense and order. If you want to check out what is happening at House of Bread, if I can speak... check out Hob News, that goes up on Sundays. We've got some bits coming up. We've got lots of exciting stuff to tell you about. If you want to know any more about the summer campaign, scroll down and watch the previous videos. I think the heat's getting to me. Can't talk, can't think. I just need to say goodbye, so goodbye. Dearie me.